Yeah, this is part 2 of our wheel restoration. I guess you don't call it a restoration. We're just looking to change the color of the wheel without removing the paint. Up to this point in the previous video, we took care of getting all the grease and oil and everything off. Removed the tire valve, got that out of there. Steam cleaned the wheel, removed the tire. We're pretty much ready to do some thousand grit sandpaper on this. And of course, if the weather cooperates today, somewhere down the day, get this painted. So what we're using is just ordinary 1000 grit, wet or dry sandpaper. There's a couple little spots that have taken a beating on this, either from road stones or from just wear and tear, the use, and I'll try to address them maybe with some 600. But the objective of everything here is to get it dull. I'd like to paint over a material, the urethane that's on here, the clear urethane. I want to get an etch to it, make it look like a washboard under a microscope. And if you sand with rougher than 1000, it's really unnecessary. The 1000 grit is good enough. I've rolled up a towel into multiple layers just to keep my bench from getting too wet, turning into a big sponge. I want to most of all get in all these corners and angles and edges, and this is going to be pretty time consuming. It may take, well, I'm prepared to spend the whole rest of the day on it, to be honest. But what I want to do is, at the end of the day, I don't want to have any chips or dings or anything that's in here already. And this wheel was in service for a couple of years, so it's got wear and tear on it. But now another thing, and when it comes to getting in all these corners and edges and angles, if I can't get in with the sandpaper, then I'm happy with it. If there's still shiny spots, I'll use some SOS pad somewhere down the road on that. But it doesn't, and I do it like a checkerboard. I've said this before on other videos. I check this area. I don't just try to randomly go around. I want to spend a lot of time around the edge, because it's this edge here that's important. What happens is you see this edge and the tire, and if this edge is not really nice and crisp and clean, kind of looks like what you did is put masking tape on the tire and paint it. And I don't like that look. So basically here we're going to have the better part of the morning even, just to get this dull as opposed to shiny. Now let me show this up close and see if the macro lens can capture this. So if you look close, this is where it's been sanded with 1000 grit. It's dull, but there are no deep sanding scratches. This is the original paint, the clear urethane here. So I'd like to have the whole part that's going to receive paint be dull like this at the end of this sand out. Now the hardest part on any job like this, the part that really takes a lot of time, is getting in all the little corners, all the little edges, all the little angles. If this were a flat piece of glass, well, this would be a lot simpler. But I'm using my fingertips. I'm going to use all those little rubber blocks that I have to try to get down into all the corners and edges, because where the paint is going to be prone to pull up is in a valley. Paint always wants to shrink, so if it's in a valley, it pulls up. If it's on the top and it's stretching down, it's really not a problem. So by spending an extra hour or two here by doing this, what I'm kind of ensuring is that the wheel, ultimately, I'm not going to have a stone hit it and a big chunk of paint fall off. And what's really good about this wheel in particular is, I know when I did it, I really have a good etch. The paint underneath this was almost totally removed, and we've got it primed and it's bonded. So it's this step with the 1000 grit paper that's going to allow our first coat of color paint to go on here nice and smooth, and hopefully give us the look that we want, that real nice shiny glassy look. But again, it's these angles, these little edges, little radiuses, and it just takes time. There's no way you can take a machine that I know of anyway, take a big grinding wheel or a Dremel tool or something and do this. This is the kind of work, it's all got to be done by hand. It's just hand labor. And I really don't know any other way you could do it, and 1000 grit is the right paper to do it with. Now, what happens here today is pretty much what happens every day in the shop. We've had to change our plans. My original plan for the day was I was going to try to get all of the sanding done on this wheel, have it all prepped, have it prep tooled up, masked, back masked, whatever, and ready for the next paintable day. Well, it's a shame. Today's not going to be a paintable day. We still have the issue of snow out there, and it's not going to happen. And then, just when I thought everything was going to be simple, Karen told me we have some other things, personal things going on here. So I changed my goal. Instead of that, I'm just going to try to get this wheel prepped as much as possible so that on the next day I have available. And here's the point I wanted to make, that in the past, I'm always tempted to rush things through because I have to take advantage of the little weather windows that I have here. Well, today's not going to be a weather window. It started out looking like it might be, but it's not now. So rather than do that, I decided I'd take the time to do some extra prep on this wheel. Now, I've got an SOS pad. In this valley, I call it a valley, it's very difficult to get a sandpaper in there, even if you have pointy fingers, or my hands are just too clunky. This is a good way to do it, to get in that valley. And it's in those valleys that you need the most time and the most preparation. Also in here, I need to get, because this has a little bit of a curve to it. And also the extra soap in here, if there is any, of course we'll really super clean the wheel before we paint it. Not only getting it etched, but getting any last trace of silicone, fingerprints, grease, chain lube, anything out of there. And it's always, and a lot of people really don't understand that painting anything, the preparation is 90% of it. Once it's prepped, if people brought parts here that were all prepped and ready to paint, well, we'd be able to do, 10 times the amount of work. We probably put 90% of the time of painting anything into the prep. And then the actual going outside and spraying it, it's a question of waiting for a day that hopefully the wind isn't blowing. Hopefully it's not, way below zero anyway, even though we can do it. It just isn't that much fun. So anyway, the rest of this day, I guess whatever time I still have left here, I'll put into the prep work. And hopefully by the end of this session, we'll have most of this prepped up. I'll get in all these little areas, get as much done as I can, but getting the whole wheel just flat, that there's no shiny spots, that'll be actually a full day job, almost a full day job anyway. I just wanted to show these little, I call them polywogs, tadpoles, they're little rubber blocks. Well, this one has just about the right shape on this part that I can get in these wheel spokes. It's almost perfect, and it's a lot more convenient than trying to do it with your fingertip. And since I have a little extra time, actually I think Miles is coming over here early today. Maybe I can get him to do all the work. I don't think so. But actually, we will get this prepped today. I will put a real good effort into getting this ready. As they say, you never know this time of year. You never know when big snow is coming, and then you never know when a storm is coming, and sometimes you just have to work around these things. But a block like this in this area, it's going to make that I have a nice transition, a nice radius, and it'll be etched all the way down into the corner. Now what I want to do, I want to clean that little edge inside the wheel there. This little spot right here, just to make it nice and clean.
hopefully what that'll do is when the tire seats in it, there won't be any of the old little chunks of rubber and things that are down in that, because that's where that actually seals, right in that little valley. I wanted that valley to be clean. Now this is a great place where the SOS pad, you can get right around the edge. And maybe that's overkill, but that's okay. Overkill is good. Anything I can do to make this just a nicer piece of equipment. I mean, you got to realize what we're doing here. We're using up a basically snowy day. They're either predicting snow or it is snowing, and I hate to say it, but not a good day to go for a ride. Not really. So we can get some of this done today. And there's just no end to the amount of detail work you can put into a wheel. But a wheel is just such a defining thing on a motorcycle. A motorcycle with flat black wheels, when you just change the color of the wheel, and it's an amazing transformation. Now it looks like the last thing we're going to get to do in this session is just to prep sole the wheel a little bit. Try to get it ready. Miles is already in the car on the way over here, so I got to put this away. And if you can get Sikkens M600, it's 100 times better than this material, but this is all that's available right now in the area that we live in. But Sikkens M600, if you were to use it, would be so much better than this. But again, not available in New Jersey, so I don't even want to comment on that. Whoever writes those laws, I'm not sure. But anyway, you may live in an area where you can still buy it. It's made by Azco, A-Z-K-O, but not available in New Jersey. Anyway, just prepping this up. This is all I'm going to get done before the baby gets here. But even this is a nice little touch. We have this. I've got to put the little tire valve in. I always make a little list in my mind. The tire, I have a bolt with a special size head that just keeps paint from going down into where the valve would seal. In here where you really don't even see it, it's relatively nice and clean. That's all got to get back masked. And you can see if you paint it over that, that's what you'd be painting over. And that's why it's important. The prep and the cleaning are so important. Well, for us, that was a good day of prep, but the weather is not our friend today. This is one of the days it's not our lucky day. But it is our lucky day because Miles will be here. He'll take the pain of sanding away. This is a handy thing to have to just put the tire valve so paint doesn't get down into the hole. Not a real critical thing, but I wrap some tape around so that it's centered right in the middle of the hole. And this gives me a nice, I guess, a better look around the edge of the tire valve than if we just painted right up to it, and then that paint would have a tendency to chip and peel, and this gives a little insurance that that's not going to happen. No, I actually had enough time while waiting for Miles to get here. Get this back mast, get the final wipe down. So we actually now, the only thing stopping us from painting it is that it's still a good possibility of snow, and I don't want to be right in the middle of painting this and it snows, so we're going to live to fight another day. But that was quite a good day to get all that sanding done. Everything is nice and dull and scratched and etched and cleaned, and that's really a good prep. That should, when that's done, that should really have a good chance that the paint is going to stick well and lay down nice and flat. Miles, are you going to run the railroad today? You're taking all the trains out. That's a lot of work. It's not easy working for the railroad, you know.
Grandpa.
Railroad is heavy work.
Come on, Grandpa.
Come on, we got to make a big track. You ready? You going to help me? Okay, you help me. You know what you're doing? Are you absolutely sure you know how to make a railroad?
I'm sure.
I sure? Are you positive?
Yes.
You're sure? Are you sure this is going to work? We're going to run out of tracks. You sure? We're going to run out of tracks here pretty soon. You got it, you got it, you got it. Wow.
Whoa! He's on top of you. Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Here, I'll open it for you.
What are you having? A snack now?
Here, I'll open it.
Yeah, yeah! Snacks and trains. There you go, baby. I think the train is winning, Miles. The train is winning. You're cheating. You got to walk around a circle like the train. You're taking a shortcut. That's not good. I'm going to speed the train up. Come on, the train is easily winning. Can I make you go backwards? Oh! So it's a heck of a way to end the day. Trains, wheels, paint, pizza pie. What else could be happening here? And they promised within the next couple of days we're going to get a paintable day. So I hope you enjoyed the video and thanks for watching.